Murder in the front row, crowd begins to bang, and there's blood upon the stage. Bang your head against the stage, and metal takes its pledge, bonded by blood. That's what I'm going to talk about today. This is going to be episode number 9, and it is Bonded by Blood by Exodus. I've got it right here so everybody can see what I'm talking about. This is the really bad album cover of Bonded by Blood. If you're watching this, you know what the real album cover looks like. I'll talk about that shortly. But anyway, today I'm going to talk about Bonded by Blood by Exodus. One of my obviously I love this album. It's one of my favorite albums ever. One of the very early albums that helped I think shape my love of this kind of music, especially heavy music, thrash metal music, whatever you choose to call it. I love it. I first heard a little bit of my history with Exodus. I first heard of Exodus, I remember this pretty well. It was in 1985. It was possibly the very first day of school, maybe in the first week of school. There was a guy I went to high school with called Jamie Dean. Not James Dean, but Jamie Dean. And at that point I was into, I'd been into Metallica for a while, at least a year or two. Metallica, the big four, Metallica, Anthrax, Slayer, and I'd gotten into Megadeth that summer. I do remember my history of how I got into Megadeth. And so this guy, my friend Jamie, we were, back then, this was in 1985, schools, this is incredible to think of. My school, we had a smoking area, and I used to smoke. I smoked for 17 years, and that's who cares? And we used to go out in the smoking area and have a smoke between classes. Amazing to think that they used to not only allow this, but give you a spot to go smoke in the school. And so I was talking to this guy Jamie Dean about all the music that I liked, and he said, "Oh, there's a band called Exodus." And back then, you used to judge everything on how fast the band was and how heavy they were. And I remember him telling me that they were faster and heavier than like Slayer and Anthrax and Megadeth and Metallica. So I bought Bonded by Blood, I guess shortly thereafter. What am I, from England in the 1600s? Shortly after that, I bought Bonded by Blood, and I loved it. It was, I don't know if it was heavier or faster or anything, but I did really love it. Now, in terms of people like to call it the Big Four, if you talk about the debut albums of the Big Four, which was Metallica, Kill 'Em All, Slayer, Show No Mercy, Anthrax, Fistful of Metal, and Megadeth, Killing Is My Business, Business Is Good. I guess Exodus just barely missed that. I think Bonded by Blood, and in case you've forgotten, there it is. Bonded by Blood was supposed to come out, I guess, in 1984, but there were some delays. I'm not sure if it was the artwork or the record company, or I'm not sure, but it got delayed until 1985. And I think this either is or would have been considered one of the really seminal thrash metal albums. So of those four, I would rank this as number 2. For me, if you include this in the this would make it 5. For me, this is number 2. I think Metallica, for me, Kill 'Em All, is number 1. I mentioned earlier, I got that in December 1983. I would put Bonded by Blood as number 2, and Show No Mercy 3. What did I say? Metallica 1, Exodus 2, Slayer 3. Anthrax and Megadeth, I was never a huge fan of either of their debut albums. But for me, those are the top 3. Exodus, Bonded by Blood, number 2. I never saw them live. I never saw Exodus live until not too long ago. It was 2014 when I saw them for the first time live. They had a very spotty history. They did play in Toronto in February 19... Was it 89 or 90? It must have been 80 or 88. I can't remember. It was 88, I think, when Pleasures of the Flesh was their current album, and they were touring. They did a tour with MOD, Method of Destruction, Billy Milano's post-SOD band, and they came. I was too young. I was, I guess, 18, and they were playing at Rock and Roll Heaven, Exodus and MOD at Rock and Roll Heaven in Toronto in February 88 or 89. It must have been 88. and I tried to sneak in, and I never did get in, but I did give a guy some money to get me an Exodus Pleasures of the Flesh shirt and an MOD shirt, and I met the guitarist from MOD. So I never got to see Exodus that time. I was too young. They had played, I think, earlier in around 1985 at Larry's Hideaway. I was way too young for that. So I didn't see them until 84. So put all that aside, I'm going to talk about Bonded by Blood now. As I said in the opening, the chorus of Bonded by Blood is murder in the front row, crowd begins to bang, and there's blood upon the stage. Bang her head against the stage, and metal takes its pledge. Bonded by blood. Very fast. I just going through this track by track. That was a just incredible opening song. Very fast, as I guess all the songs on this were. Getting back to, as I mentioned, the album cover. This album cover sucks. It's shitty. It's you have to like really look at it to understand what it is. It's a kind of like a not black and white, but red and white, like it's supposed to be a crowd. I guess you can see a little bit better here on the inside. But it sucks. The original album cover, I'm not sure why they changed it to this. I had this when I bought it in 1985. I had the vinyl, or back then we used to call them records. Nobody called it vinyl back then. And it had the classic Exodus Bonded by Blood album cover with the conjoined twins and kind of evil looking and really cool. I would imagine maybe this was a little bit tamer when this was reissued. Let me see if I've mentioned before, I used to write the dates when I bought CDs. This sucks. This is nothing. There's the inside. This was issued by Combat. Terrible job. The original album had the lyrics. It had liner notes and everything. I think it had photos. This is all of the reissue. I don't know what year this came out. I bought this. I didn't always write the dates. This was in black. It's hard to see. It looks like February. No, I see 2004. I'm not sure. I have to get it. July 16th, 2004 was when I bought this. I don't know why it took me so long to buy Bonded by Blood on CD, because I loved it. But it's excellent. So Bonded by Blood was the opening track, very fast, and because that was what mattered at that time. And Exodus, their how do you say that? Not the title track. The name of the band when they sing. Motorhead did that. Iron Maiden. Who else had a song that the song was the same as the band name? Motorhead, Iron Maiden. Exodus did. And these were, Exodus had I think they were a little bit more extreme. I don't know if they were heavier or faster than Metallica or Slayer, but their lyrics were maybe more extreme. And then there were none. That was a good moshing song. That wasn't as fast as some of their other songs, but that was a good one. And then there were none. The world powers burn. The world starts to learn that Satan's work is done. A lesson in violence. I guess that's become maybe kind of one of Exodus's signature songs. Get on your knees and bow and learn a lesson in violence. Very fast and aggressive, violent too. Metal Command, that was cool at the time. Maybe in retrospect, Metal Command is not the best song. It's a little bit cheesy. Back then, these bands, Metallica did it with, they used to write about metal, about what it was like to be a metal fan. And Metallica did it with, Metallica had 3 songs on Kill 'Em All. Hit the Lights, Whiplash, and Metal Militia. And Exodus had it with Metal Command. Piranha, this is a song about a fish. Fantastic song. No Love. It was kind of popular at the time for bands. Metallica also did it with Fight Fire with Fire. I guess around the same time, 85. That had they kind of lure you in. They trick you into thinking it's going to be a nice quiet song with this acoustic guitar intro. And then it's very heavy. But No Love, every song on all these albums that I'm talking about, of course, is great. Tonight There Will Be No Love. Deliver Us to Evil. That for me, that's I would say it's my favorite song on this album. Maybe maybe my favorite Exodus song, Pentagram in the High. No, Pentagram in the Sky. Incubus in the Sky, Pentagram held high. Hell's filth hound begins to bark. I wish I'd practiced these lyrics before. When I hear the song, I know it. I know every guitar lick, every riff, every little lyric thing on this album. Hell's filth hound begins to bark. The bell begins to toll. Virgin lies in blood. The blood was once her own. The redness and the horror of blood swept across the land I stood. And that's a long one. Deliver Us to Evil is maybe around 7 minutes. And then the last song on this is Strike of the Beast. Maybe that's kind of an Exodus signature song too. Strike of the Beast, very fast. Walking down the back streets, the moon is full and high. The moon is full and high. Walking down the back streets, the moon is full. You feel your body start to rise. Someone's about to die. When you're 15 years old and this comes out in 1985, that stuff just blew you away. This is what you were looking for in music. And then this version, this was the reissued version. It has two bonus tracks, live tracks, and then There Were None and A Lesson in Violence live from London. And I guess I don't know when it was, but it was with Steve Sousa Zetro, who replaced Paul Bailoff, who was the singer of Exodus on their only album. He sang on this one, and he's kind of one of these guys that became like a larger than life character in metal or in thrash metal. He hated posers, and he died in, I don't know when, 2002 or 2003 or something. But Steve Sousa Zetro sings on the bonus tracks, live tracks on this album. So Exodus Bonded by Blood. I'm not even sure. I guess I would say it is my favorite Exodus album. I chose to talk about this one because I was gonna say maybe I like Tempo of the Damned better. Maybe because similar to, I talked about Testament, the formation of damnation, and this was sorry, not this one, but Tempo of the Damned, Exodus, which came out in 2003 or 4, 2003, I think. They were kind of gone away for a long time, and similar to Testament, it made me realize that, man, these guys are back and they really mean business. So I love Tempo of the Damned, but I thought I would talk about this just because I was 15 years old when this came out. And when Tempo of the Damned came out, I was like 33. So nothing is going to have an impact when you're 33 the way it is when you're 15. But similar to something that I've realized about, I think all of these early thrash bands, you could say it for Exodus for sure, Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth, Anthrax, Testament, Death Angel for sure. Their first albums, they were good enough that they got your attention, obviously, but looking back on it for what they became later, they're not nearly as good as they became later. Tempo of the Damned and I guess every Exodus album since then sounds much better sonically than Bonded by Blood. In terms of the songs, maybe I like Bonded by Blood better, and Death Angel, Ultraviolence, and then Frolic Through the Park. Even Metallica, Kill 'Em All and then Ride the Lightning. Sacrifice is another, and I can talk about Sacrifice, Torment and Fire, and then such a step up a year later to Forward to Termination, and Slayer going from Show No Mercy to Hell Awaits, Anthrax from Fistful of Metal to Armed and Dangerous, Megadeth from Killing Is My Business to Peace Sells, Testament going from The Legacy to The New Order. The second album was much better, I think, for all those bands. Sonically, they sounded better. Bonded by Blood is not Exodus's heaviest album or fastest album, or more maybe lyrically the most aggressive, but it's not their best sounding album, but it is, for me, their best album. I would even go so far as to say I love this album.